I didn't say this meeting is being recorded, but it is. Okay, so yeah, the semester ends on, I'm looking at my calendar, August the 8th. And then grades are due on Wednesday the 7th. So there's some time there, even after the semester ends, to get things in. And if the submissions are closed on Canvas, then just email me and we can work out how you can submit. You can even submit through email. Sorry, I've had this weird eye thing and now I feel like I have something in my eye. But so annoying, especially when you can't see it. So anyhow, really the rest of this week is just to get your play performance reports in, get your presentation of your Tempest scene in. And if your group is not participating, you contact me. We'll work it out to be an individual project, or I can assign you with someone else. Or if some members of your group are participating and some are not, then you can simply move to vote that person off the island, basically, and work with the people who are participating. Because if we can't make somebody participate, we can't force anybody to do something that they don't want to do, and we don't want to. You know, this part should be the most fun. This is the culmination of what are we doing in theater. We've looked at the script. We're looking at this one script of The Tempest. If you are in Santa Barbara, you're living in kind of an island environment that is actually isolated from a lot of other places, like from Los Angeles and from San Francisco. So we're kind of our own enclave, and you can think about that. If any of you are transplants here, you can think about coming to a foreign place, which when I moved here, it certainly was very, very unlike where I had come from, which was Los Angeles. So, you know, there's a whole different set of unspoken rules that go along with every single place where you live. So it's important to acknowledge where you are living. But since we've worked through the playwright, we've worked through the play, you have your questions, which I'll be posting your grades on that today. And really you're looking at the one scene that you're assigned. And if you choose to do the scene from Une Tempete that is correlates to your scene, completely fine. It's in a different, I shouldn't say it's in a different language. It's a translation because Aimé Césaire wrote in French, but the language is more what we think of as contemporary English. So that may be your choice. The playwright definitely takes the post-colonial viewpoint head on by looking at the Caliban Ariel discussion, where Ariel is willing to sort of go along with what Prospero says, and Caliban is only going to fight against it forever and ever. So, you know, it's very interesting. You can contribute to that, to the discussion on that as well. Very important. And then figure out what your scene is. What is it? Who is going to be the director? If you're doing a solo piece, then you'll have to decide a concept. You'll decide what in the script really supports your concept the best, and then how you would actually present that. What we have, you know, interestingly, we're in sort of a restrictive time with the COVID-19 thing, where we're supposed to all be staying somewhat isolated. We're not supposed to be gallivanting around and hanging out with friends without a mask, no social distancing. So it is interesting to look in the past of theater, playwriting, criticism, and often the most powerful work comes out of a time of great restriction. For example, some of the highest comedy that has ever been written is Molière's 17th century comedies. And they were written in the most restrictive environment with a very, very specific group of guidelines that he had to follow, which was, you know, they just wanted to beat against the box, but by actually having to stay within that, it creates a greater creativity, a greater use of imagination, a really trying to think of how to solve the problem. when I was doing a big television show it was the #1 show for quite a few weeks, and you know, the writers would come up with things. We'd get the script on a let me think about this for a second. Usually we'd get the script sometimes on a Thursday, but most often Friday, or it'd be delivered to our house over the weekend. And on Mondays, we'd read the script in the same room, all the designers with the director and the primary cast. If it was just a day play or something and they chose to come in, then they would come in, but they were not paid. So they would come in just to get extra contact with everyone. I always liked that because then I could measure them early. But, you know, they would do a script, we'd read it, and then I would get busy getting the designs done. The crew would either be shopping or striking the show that we did the week before. And then we would often be shopping or renting or sometimes even making in our 2-day period. And then on Thursday, we would often pre-tape or pre-film something because this show was shot in front of a live audience. One of the reasons why I got that job was because I had been a theater artist. So they knew that if it was shot in front of a live audience, there wouldn't be a lot of downtime in between scenes for actors to hang out, go back to their trailer, not really change their clothes very quickly. And so that the performance for the live audience could be more seamless. I mean, they of course had entertainment by a stand-up comedian coming in and chatting with them to keep them, you know, entertained and whatever till the next scene, because there was obviously a reset, moving a lot of cameras around. But the way that it's set up on a television stage is all of the major scenes that you're going to see that night, particularly in front of a live audience, the entire set is set up at once. So in a way, it's like a mansion stage from the medieval time period, except that it wouldn't travel from left to right. The main set would be in the center. And then as we had to go to other sets, they would be just outside of center. So for example, our main set was a living room. And as the living room had most of the action, it also had the front door. We could see people coming and going. We could also see the front porch from that same angle. And then if we went to the kitchen, we'd go off to stage left. If we needed to go to a bedroom, unless it was a big action, that would be something that we would pre-tape the day before, because that would be it'd be like unseemly for the audience to have to sit there and then see a very small scene, a couple of minutes maybe in a bedroom. But let's say we're going to go to a bar, or we're going to go to a nightclub, we're going to go to a party, you know, a graduation party or a retirement party. Those scenes would be set up also. So it's really a very big take on the mansion stage of the medieval period by the actors traveling from location to location, but all in front of a live audience. So if they travel from location to location and it becomes a different day, then they would have a costume change. So these things would be planned out. We'd read the script, and I got a script that had 14 costume changes for the lead. And I said, you know, this isn't really a show about anything. It's a fashion show. And all we're going to do is see the lead change 14 times. You realize that you have 14 different script days in the script. And, you know, they hadn't actually thought about it. And they're just, you know, trying to write one gag after another. So when you have I shouldn't say when you don't have a good script, when you don't have a very tight perimeter, then you can just put in whatever gag you want. And a gag is just some kind of, you know, a shortcut to a slapstick response. Like when one of the things, and we learned this also from medieval theater, like Punch and Judy, they would beat each other up, and that was funny. People fall down, and that's funny. You know, and that would be seeing a comedian with sort of rubbery legs. This was very common in the vaudeville period, where people would walk across the stage and fall down, and that would be something that people would laugh at, and laugh at someone else's pratfall. It was intentional, or someone else's mistake. And then the laughter is masking the embarrassment of yourself thinking, what if this happened to me? So in this time of restriction, even though we're not together, you can still do a very robust presentation for your Tempest. And then think about each one of these things. And in the presentation for today, I have listed a few things of what you can do. And then in the assignment, you have all the rubrics and the information about how to do it. And then just to wrap up the semester, which, wow, 6 weeks, it goes so fast, and it just feels like we're on a freight train coming crashing into the end. But I will post an extra credit, 50-point extra credit today, where you can take any one of the play performances that has been listed and write an additional play critique. And it will be listed as 0 points, but the maximum that you can get will be the customary 50. So that can add to your final grade. So that's a usual thing that I do, is that you can get an extra credit point. Some of you have gotten notice because we have had many people that have had situations beyond their control. And so if you have missed a quiz, those quizzes will be open, and you should have gotten a notice regarding that. And they'll be open tonight from roughly midnight for 24 hours so that you can go in and take a quiz that you may have missed. This is not to make up for a quiz that you maybe got a poor score on, because the quizzes are open for 2 hours. You can literally look up any answer that you need to. And I encourage you to do that. And then also, let's just briefly talk about the final exam. It is in 2 portions. It is multiple choice. The first portion is, I think, 37 questions, and then the second part is 38 questions with the 2 bonus questions. And the bonus questions, I think, are worth 5 points each. So you can really expand your score. They are an essay type question, so think carefully about them, and they can really help your score. And you can get above 100 points, 150 points on that. Each question's worth 2, so it's 150 total, but you could get up to 160 if you got every single answer correct. So the material is based both on lectures, your PowerPoint presentations, and your textbook. So you should be able to find all of your answers. And I have gone through and really tried to make it as consistent as possible so that I'm not using different language than the textbook uses. Recognize that many of the things that the textbook does are not what I would do necessarily, but I've tried to make my language match that, just for the least confusion and the most clarity. It's interesting going through the textbook this time, although I've used this textbook for 9 years, not this exact one, but an earlier edition, and realizing really it is from the point of view of men. And even though it's written by a woman, I'm rather surprised by that, and I think I'll have to drop her a note. But those crafts that are customary thought of as female crafts are slighted in the information in the textbook, and I found that quite interesting. So, all right, that's just a few notes. So about your Tempest final project is 100 points. Your final exam is 150 points with a possible 10 bonus, and then you can have a 50-point extra credit. So even from right now, you could get an additional 300 points to whatever you have turned in already. So any questions right now? Roundtable discussion. And remember, you'd have to unmute so that you can do that. None. No questions. Everybody's doing fantastic.
Oh, hi, good morning. I have a question. How do we schedule the
And
meetings?
how are you doing today? How are you managing in this time of 6 months of the pandemic? Let's just talk about that for a minute. I know for myself and my family, I see my kids really trying to beat against the walls. They really want to get out of this particular environment. My daughter wanted to go to a party, and I had to say, are you thinking through this clearly? This could be not only dangerous for you, but then if you do get something and you bring it home to me, even if you don't get it and then I get it, everybody has to think about such extenuating consequences for each action that we take. Now, everything has to be very intentional. So how's that affecting you? Anybody want to throw in and get a gold star? That's what I do. If we're face to face, you get a gold star if you volunteer. Hey, Mari. Okay, excellent. Thank you for putting this in the chat. Let me get to that. So Mari has a question. How can we schedule the meetings with me for the Tempest final project? Excellent. You can email me. You can talk to me right now. If your group has a couple of time frames that you want to give me, basically I can probably accommodate those. So I'm happy to meet with you via Zoom. I'm happy to facilitate a Zoom meeting so that if you wanted to rehearse or practice in any way, you could do that. And you can actually read your scenes over Zoom, decide on how you want people to look, pick a virtual background, and we can talk about how you pick a virtual background. If you're not familiar with that, we can try it out. And so I'm completely open and willing to meet with everyone. And if you have, and I said this maybe a little before you came in, but if you have people that are not participating, then what you do is just collapse the people that, the jobs that you have into the people that you have so that you have the fullest presentation possible. So do you have an idea of when you'd like to meet? Do you
Hello,
want me
can you
to
hear
send an
me?
email with a few time slots, perhaps? If that would be helpful to you, I can just send out an email and say, hey, I have these time slots. Would you like to sign up for an hour? How would you like that?
Yeah, like,
You can do
can you hear me?
yes, no, you can do chat, you can do whatever. And I'll send it through announcements just so that everyone's can sign up. So normally what we do is, you know, somebody like Mari, if you are the director or the stage manager of your group, you say, Pam, my group has, you know, a certain amount of time. Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, don't worry about it. Your mic's not working. My group has Thursday at 2 o'clock. Does that work for you? And then I can say it does. But I will look at my calendar. I can give 3 or 4 slots today, 3 or 4 slots tomorrow, and some on Friday, so that everybody, you can come once or you can come more than once, okay? So let me make an effort to do 3 to 4 slots Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so that I will email that through announcements and everybody will have that. And then whoever gets back to me can sign up for that, okay? And if part of your group gets back to me, that's that I'll just assume that means all of your group, okay? Excellent. That's an excellent question. Any other questions? Anybody thinking about how the designer would work in this environment? How would the designer work in Zoom? By the way, there are plays being filmed for Zoom and produced on Zoom, even as we speak. Because in theater and in professional theater, we're looking at probably a year without live theater. And there's so many protocols that have gone into place regarding how we can resume work. And yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me just make a note here. But I'll talk about how we resume work. But right now in the professional theater, I know sound designers and costume designers that are working through with companies that they may have worked with before, and they're creating Zoom productions. Also, companies that are then streaming productions that have been filmed for archival purposes before, and they're putting those online. So there is content of live theater, and the ones that we have been seeing for a play production report are pre-COVID-19. So you're looking at fully produced plays that are in a traditional theater, that have a very intentional directorial point of view, that have a support of a designer team that is trying to create a visual for that director's vision. So that's very different. And that's why it's interesting to think about that, is how are those productions that we've been able to look at, although we're looking at them on a screen, which is not the same as seeing them live, and different than doing a Zoom performance. And, you know, part of it is, are you just going to see this person here? You can actually see them, you know, you can set up your computer and maybe they're going to, you know, come into the room and they're going to be very animated, or they're going to be some other way. So there's a lot more that you can do than just sit in front of your computer and read your script. And really, you just read your script. You do not need to memorize anything. It's okay if we see you holding it. You know, it can be on your phone, it can be in your book, your notebook, or whatever. So it can be on your screen. You know, you can have your Zoom screen open if you want, and you can read it over here. Then, however, you're looking at the eyes being over here, which is not as effective. So think about when someone's eyes go over here and they're trying to act, you're watching the screen. So that can be a bit disconcerting. There's also one thing that I want to share with you. Hold on a second, I'm going to open it, but I'm going to put this into the presentation so that you can see what it's like. But I want to screen share. And before I screen share, does anyone have any questions right now about some of the things that you're working on? Any questions? I'll just wait a second. You can say yes and click that green button. You can raise your hand. You can just chat. You can open up your mic and do whatever. It's so interesting. I had on Monday, thank you very much for letting me go early, because you know those appointments at DMV are so difficult to get, and my son had an appointment for his driving test. So I appreciate us only meeting for 1 hour. But Monday afternoon, I had a meeting because I am the chairperson of the Western region for United Scenic Artists 829. That's the union that governs all of the working conditions for all of the scenic artists. And I'm not just saying scenic artists who paint, but here's our Constitution. Here's a list of people who are represented. It's a national union for theater. So it goes from coast to coast. Primarily, the headquarters for United Scenic Artists 829 is in New York. And in New York, they represent not only theater, live theater, but film and television designers as well. On the West Coast, because we had the same, we had the film industry and at the same time as the theater industry. United Scenic Artists was only regionally held then and not nationally. So out in the West Coast, we have all represented by the IATSE, which is the International Alliance for Theatrical Stage Employees and Allied Crafts. On the West Coast, we have our individual locals, which is what the category group is called on the West Coast. The individual locals, so Local 800 is the Art Directors Guild, which is also national. The 892, Local 892 is the Costume Designers Guild, again representing costume designers in any kind of motion picture, so film, television, commercial, industrials, documentaries, any of those kinds of work that include a moving picture, that would be Local 892. If you're not a designer, but you are working in costume, so you're working as a costumer, you would be in Local 705, which is called the Motion Picture Costumers. If you're interested in hair and makeup, you'd be in Local 706, which is the Hair and Makeup Union. And the union is actually categorized together, but if you're working on a film, you cannot work both hair and makeup. You can, if you're qualified in each, you would need to select one of those categories to be in. And that's just to provide seamlessness before filming starts. So in Local 892, 829, we represent art department coordinators, art directors, computer artists, costume designers, costume department coordinators. Now I'm going to show you something about reading. So I'm going to put my script up here above my screen, okay? And look at my eye line when I'm reading here so that you can see it's much more interesting. I can actually kind of be a character, and I can tell you that the USA 829 represents computer artists, costume designers, costume department coordinators. We don't even have that category on the West Coast, by the way. But it'd be great if we had it. Costume stylists, which is a term that is that is often used to represent costume designers that work in commercial. And on the West Coast, we've tried to get rid of the stylist category because everyone's creating a look. However you get that way, you're still a designer. Graphic artists, industrial utility members, lighting designers, mural artists, production designers, projection designers, scenic artists, scenic designers, and sound designers. So that's the union that I belong to, and I'm the chair for the Western region. So on Monday night, we had a meeting and we had 100 people on our Zoom call for 2.5 hours. So it is a great way to meet. It's a great way to have a discussion, even a large scale discussion, and we can work out what we want to do. So now just to a question before I show you a screen share about some views on Zoom. Yes, I am going to monitor the group discussions today. I'm going to go into the group discussions and just see how everybody's doing, if you're making progress, if I need to nudge anybody, if I need to poke anybody with a stick, saying please engage. And then, you know, if they're not going to engage by the end of today, you're going to have to move on without them, and we'll work out that. And you can, if you feel that you would prefer to work with someone, if everyone in your group has just somehow disappeared, I am happy to get you with another person who may be in the same situation. Because for me, theater is a collaborative art. We have to work together, and that's the only way it works. I mean, even if you're doing a solo show, somebody else is turning the lights on for you. Somebody else is probably running the cable, and there's somebody running a projection screen or whatever, unless you're, you know, taking your own table, setting your own chair up, doing everything. There still is some kind of support for no matter what you're doing. So that's why I love the collaborative portion of this class. So yeah, I'm going to come in and keep track of you guys. That will happen today. I know it seems so weird when I was taking a class at the beginning of the summer on how we're going to manage the summer school schedule. They said, well, every single day you meet 4 days a week. Every single day your class is technically scheduled 4 days a week equals a week in a regular semester. That's not quite true because it's only 16 weeks. And if we met 6 weeks, that would be 24. But we have had 12 Zoom meetings. So that would be more than, that would be at least one a week over a semester. We've had, you know, we've at least put 2 weeks into each week. All right, I'm going to do a screen share. I want you to see this very interesting thing about screen views, and then we're going to try a couple of these things, okay? So hold on. This is a pretty interesting idea for how you can work with Zoom. Now I'm going to actually also talk to you about one other thing. Okay. So if you want this to be larger, if you want these words to be larger on your screen and you're on a laptop, go to the top of the screen and you'll see that it says you are seeing, you know, Pam's screen share or something like that. And then on the right, there's an option button. And on that option button, you can choose to enlarge this screen that you're looking at. Is that clear for everybody? Is that helpful? So yeah, I just want you to know that you can actually control you can't control how you're seeing it, you can control the size that you're seeing it on your screen. So that will help you because going forward, I know there's going to be Zoom meetings, there's going to be Zoom classes, and we're going to be in this Zoom environment for a while, or you're going to be completely asynchronous where you don't see anybody. And I mean, I don't know, I just can't do that with theater. Okay, so this is some ideas, if you see my cursor here, looking at new screen views on how to focus screen views within the Zoom to create your virtual scene. Okay, I'll post this too in the assignments. Actually, I'll post it on the presentation today. So click on the gallery view in the top right corner. We're going to try this as soon as we get done with reading this, okay? Ask all non-performers to lower their left-hand corner. Go to their lower left-hand corner and stop video. Wherever that is on your phone, it might be a swipe and then you stop. When they stop video, their name will appear. Hover over any name in the gallery. So this would be the job of the stage manager. The stage manager could hover over the name in your group. If you want to have just one person on screen, you can see just one person, okay? Click on the ellipsis, that's the 3 dots, and hide all non-video participants. And we're going to try this in a minute, so you'll see it. At this point, the instructors in the scene, the instructor and the actors in the scene will be visible. The students, you guys can also hide all non-participants, non-video participants as well, so that you are just seeing the main portion of the actor. But that's not as important right now because you're going to actually record your Zoom. Okay, so you want to run through your scene once and you're going to record your Zoom. So the person who's recording is the one that will have to actually work all the screen things. So the instructor stops their own video. At this point, you'll see the 2 actors. So we're going to practice this. And then we'll see 2 people on the screen. Everyone else is still going to be in here, but each actor will then hover over their own screen and hide self. Now they'll only see their partner, because how distracting is it to just look at your face when you're doing stuff, you know? I mean, I think it can be extremely distracting, and then you see people doing all kinds of weird things. On me, it's like, you know, oh, they're looking at their face and then they're checking their hair out or whatever they're doing. So I actually try to hide the view as well. It just makes you more spontaneous. So then all observers will continue to see both scene partners. All student non-participants hit mute, so only the actors and the instructor can speak, and that's if the instructor is giving some kind of notes. And then when the scene ends, hit show non-video participants. Everybody's back in screen, and students return to show video and unmute for the discussion. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to work on that, and I'll post this, and it's a really fun and easy thing. So each of these actors in the background could have a different virtual background if we wanted to have. You can see, you know, in some of the virtual backgrounds, there's some of these great, we'll practice that in a minute too, but there's some great ocean scenes. You can be in a room, you can be in an art gallery, you can be basically anywhere you want. So that's very handy to know about. So, and then this is about screen share, playing video, and then sharing self tapes of solo work to optimize synchronous viewing. So if you create a self tape and upload it to a private YouTube channel. Now, I'm going to just pause for a second here. On our Google Gmail, each of you can access your own YouTube channel, right? In Gmail, there's 3 dots, or there's this little 9-dot screen, and I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll show you how I go to my YouTube. And you can then create a tape here on your computer, not even over Zoom if you're doing a solo thing. Save it, upload it to YouTube. YouTube will publish it. And then you have the option to set it to private. Only those with the link can access it, and they won't be searchable. And you can then just send the link through the chat feature, but we can just send it through announcements. We can send it through our Canvas site to everybody, or you can send them to me and I'll post them so everyone can see each person's presentation. And then when you do that, everyone would mute their mics and the class would click on the YouTube so that we can see it. So, you know, we can always, it would be great if we could publish it to YouTube and then we can see it. Okay, any questions before I get off this page? This will be posted, okay? This is absolutely going to be posted, and we're going to try doing this right now. Okay, so Oscar, I realize you may not be able to see this, but you'll be able to see it on the assignments, okay? All righty. Let's see. Let's go down here and let's practice. So each of you are probably seeing, you know, Big Pam on the screen. And what you can do, because right now I'm seeing you with your names, and I can go to the 3 dots above and I can hide non-participants. So each of you go up to one person and hide the non-participant, you'll see that their window goes away. Right? Are you trying that now? Yes, yes, yes. You're going to click your yes buttons. So try and look at that. You can put everybody in gallery view. You can also just then see, now I have non-participants. So I will now be a non-participant. If you hide non-participants, so you probably are all seeing me. Let's just have one other person volunteer to be on screen. Does anyone want to volunteer to quote be my scene partner? Just, you can raise your hand or you can say yes. Katie, I know you had your yes up from before, but do you mind being the scene partner? So if you don't mind, I'm going to then ask you to unmute. Mari, are you talking? Because I can't hear you. Hi. Okay. We have to unmute you.
I was trying to figure out how to.
I'm not getting your sound yet.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Let's see. I don't have you as.
Can you hear me now?
Maybe your sound's not working. Is your volume all the way up?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
That might be something. Oh, you can hear her and I just can't hear her. Okay, thanks, Amy. I really appreciate that. So that's my problem. Maybe I have. There you go. Maybe it's on my end. Okay. Let's just look at the screen for a minute so you can see two people. Here's why it's really important to go to YouTube. Because on some people's screen, I might be on the top, and on some people's screen, Katie's going to be on the top, right? Some people might have a side-by-side. So if you want to control the view, you'll need to have one person record, and then you can control what everyone sees, and they'll see the same thing. The other thing is, let's look at the lighting. So Katie's picture is very dark. She's in a darker room, and one of the things you can do is go, do you have a window in your room, Katie?
Yeah, I just didn't. Can you hear me?
Can you face the window?
Yes.
I hope your teeth are doing well.
They are.
Remember, she had her wisdom teeth out last week. All right, look at how much better that is. Now we can really see her. So see how the lighting is so important in the Zoom. And then we can see that she's in her room and I'm in my room, and I have this funny little painting back here. All right, how do you pull a virtual background? Anybody know? Has anybody done a virtual background? So you can, not yet. Okay, yeah. There is a way to do it. Now let me just see if I can remember how to do it. Okay. It's not there. I thought it was in more. So let's look at how to do a virtual background. It is, you have to pick another option. Okay, let me go. It's on, should be on the bottom. Okay, I'm on speaker view also. Okay, let's take a look at that. And I think, oh, let me think about this. Let's just pause for a second, you guys. You can visually see. So I'm just going to pause the recording. I'm going to try and pause the recording. Come on, let me pause it. Okay, so to resume recording, under your video arrow, by your video arrow, if you click on that this thing, the little upside down V, you can choose a virtual background. Okay, so I'm going to choose a virtual background. You may be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm going to pick the Golden Gate Bridge. And you'll be able to see behind me the Golden Gate Bridge with my painting in front of it. So it works best. Let me move that for a second. Okay, it works great on a, you're going to see some strangeness on my face, but you know, it works really well on a white wall. And let me show you a couple of the other ones that are here. This is our campus. This is where we would have done the Tempest. Now, here's the problem. Green screen reacts to green. So if I have green, I have some green in my shirt, so it goes to a hole. It goes to a black hole. So that's, I don't have green on my face, but I don't know what that's going to be. But this is the place where we would have done our performance of the Tempest. And you can see that how great the space is, how you would have entrances around the fountain, both side entrances. The audience could sit up here, and you'd be viewing ourselves against the ocean over here and seeing that we were on an island. Isn't that cool? You will end up with a number of, oh, okay, so just a second. You'll end up with a number of different backgrounds that you can pick. So here's one that's, you know, a big green background, which might work for certain scenes. Here's a earth background, you know, maybe excellent for the storm portion. And here's a beach. So there you go, with movement. So there's a lot of options here. So why don't you guys, let's, let me see if I take this off. There you go. I don't have a green screen. So on the bottom of choose a virtual background, if you guys are fooling around with this under your stop video, if you remove I have a green screen, then it will not read green screen, okay? And then it will help you be able to see a regular visual for each one of these backgrounds. Okay, excellent, excellent. Let's try this. Do you want to see what I'm doing first? Do you need a screen share? Okay, just a minute. What would I do if my computer does not meet the requirements for virtual background? You can have whatever background you want, you know, just put something up there like this. You can put a piece of cloth behind you. Here, I'm going to get rid of my background. So now I'm just back to my room, but you can even put, people have put sheets up, you know, any kind of a sheet if you want to create a background or you want to just create a color or you want to just do a pattern, you know, you can even put up, I'll just show you something really simple. You could put up a beach towel, right? And create a background. So that would work also. And that's something that the designer can help with. So this is a really big part of the design portion of the virtual. So, and Oscar, same with you. If you don't have a camera, but maybe you can do it on your phone. So that is something that you can work with. Okay, I am going to show the non-video participants. So now I'll have everybody's image on my screen. You guys can then show your non-video participants. Okay, I can still go to speaker view and where you'd see me because my microphone is engaged. And then I can go to gallery view. Okay. What do you think? That's a pretty cool thing, isn't it? So let's go to here, to screen share. You're going to look at this thing for a sec. Wait a minute. Oh, I was going to show you my Zoom screen. That didn't work. Okay, wait. Oh yeah, hold on. So here's my video portion. Can you guys see what I'm pointing at up here? Here's where it says choose a virtual background, video settings. You can fool around there. And you can choose a number of different settings. This is the portion that has I have green screen. So if I have San Francisco behind me, and then I have green screen, it's gonna make that fuzziness happen, okay? And my painting is gonna be in the middle. But if I choose I don't have green screen, then it removes everything that is back there. Like if you have a messy room, it can be really great. And then you can see things. Now at the bottom, you can see this is a video, and the one I showed you with the beach is a video. And notice that it was reversed, okay? So this is a video, it's reversed. Down here in the corner, you see the tree on this side, and up on my screen, you see the tree to the left. What does that tell you? Right? Stage left. So when you're looking at the screen, you're looking at it as though you're looking at the stage, and we're using the same sort of language, stage left, stage right, that we would use as a director in a theater performance. So that's kind of interesting, but it's great that it's a video. This one is also a video. You can see the Northern Lights, and that might be great for certain things. And there are lots of other virtual backgrounds, and you can add your own image right here. Okay, and again, look at the difference between non-green screen and green screen. And then look at, I can come into this scene, and if you want me to be far away, I can come and have my camera farther away, and I can come up to you and then start talking. So, you know, be really inventive. I think it could be quite fun. And I'm just going to stop my screen share. And hopefully that was helpful to you guys. Yeah? Okay. So you mean your battery is dead and you need to plug in, or your camera, your computer is just not functioning well? If it's a power source situation, I get you, totally. Actually, I need to go back and get rid of the Northern Lights. Let me do that right now. So I'm glad to help you do that. And I will put how to do a virtual background. I'll add that to the Tempest presentation so everybody will have that, okay? Any questions? Because we're almost to 10, we'll take a little break and then think about questions about what you want to do, and then we can try a couple things. Okay? So we'll come back at 5 after, and we'll do a wrap up, and then, hey, excellent, somebody's got on a, I see your video. Yay. Now now when you leave, you can have that on instead of your name. So, all right, I'm just gonna stop and mute for a minute. Sorry, I muted and I was still talking. That's the last day for you. Okay, I'll see you at 5 after. Bye. Great, we're all back. Excellent. Okay, I want to show you one more thing. And if you can't watch a screen share, I will also do this on the presentation thing. Let me just make a note to put that in. So I know I was shocked when my kid was in 4th grade and the teacher said, and upload that to YouTube. And I'm thinking, what's YouTube? But I'm going to show you how easy it is from our pipeline Gmail to get to YouTube. So let's go there now. And let's see if I can actually sign in. Let's see. Oh, no, maybe I can do this. I have a lot of things up. Okay. So hopefully I can go here to here. Let's just go to pipeline. And then, oh, of course, it doesn't matter how long you're here. Oh, don't do that. You have to re-sign in like, oh, every second, and don't use all caps. And then on my on my other email, I can hit return. And on this one, of course, it makes error. So that's very frustrating. So you sign in. Of course, I have a failure. And then it always panics me because it says it'll be locked when you reach 5. And I just hope, please don't make me get to that. Okay, I can't talk. I have to do this. Okay, so remember your eye line is important always when you're looking at, when you're doing your Zoom video, and also your screen angle is very important. So if you want to be slightly looking up, you're looking at your camera. For me, that's in the middle of my screen, but you can raise and lower your computer, okay? So I have mine actually on a box. Before I was back, quote from the break, you watched me, I had my computer low like this. Actually, you know what I realized? Sorry, I'm screen sharing. I'll do that in a minute. Okay, so go to your Gmail. And on Gmail, we have this very cool little, oh, I had Gmail right there. That's so silly. See these 9 little buttons? These are Google Apps. So if we go there, this is where you can find your Google Slides to do your presentation. And if you scroll down, you can go directly to YouTube. And then when you get to YouTube, hold on for a sec. You'll have a million things, whatever you're looking at. Wow, okay, I don't think I've ever seen those things. But I have home right here. Also, very simply, you can choose this little symbol and you can create a movie. You can upload a video, or you can actually go live and just talk right into your computer and you would be filming your YouTube. So that's very simple. So if you're doing a solo project, you can just film your YouTube right there. If I go to home, so again, just to go back, that's this little camera icon. It says create, you check on it, you can upload a video. When you've saved a Zoom on your screen, I'll show you how that works. That is in a document. So I could go to my documents right here, go to documents, and I can find Zoom down here. You can see here's all my Zooms. And if you are having a problem locating it, you can go right by date, okay? And then you can click on that Zoom. You take this little icon, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Let me get out of this. And if I go to upload video, and again, back on my Gmail, and I'm uploading my video, I'll get to a screen that says drag and drop files. I can take that Zoom file and put it right in there, and then it will drop files for me. Okay, and then this is how I've saved our class, but I'm not going to do this because this is one that I've already uploaded. But here you'd have an opportunity to type whatever title you want, title. And what you want to put here is you want to put Tempest, or if you're using Une Tempete, do that, or you can write, I just learned this. Shoot, now I can't remember which one it is. No, okay, I learned how to write the accent aigu, grave, and so anyway, I can't remember right the second. I'll have to look that back up. Or you can simply write a Tempest, which is the English version of it. Okay, and then you can describe your video. In here you can say, you know, Amy is Caliban, Pam is Ariel, and Oscar is Prospero. Okay, and then you can see that this is in the process of uploading right now. That's what these shaded things are doing. You can upload a thumbnail sketch. You might take a screenshot of your virtual background and put it here. You can do whatever you want. You can take your face. You can do something. I've just done that stupid picture that I took in my closet because I was showing my friend the earrings and the pin that she sent me from Russia. But you can put anything here. When it's done uploading, then you simply can share this link. So I'm going to show you the next screen. You have to answer it's not made for kids, okay? And before that, you do your thumbnail. If it's not, you have to answer it's not made for kids, unless it's basically felt board animals. I read on this, you really do want to put it's not made for kids. And then forget the other options. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to answer that question. I'm doing a fake one, but nonetheless. And then you can do any of these additional elements that you want. And then you go to next. You can make your video private, and then you can have to send me the link so that I can see it. You can have it be public. You can set it in instant premiere. Oh, I've done that. Sorry that you had to go through that whole 1 minute of whatever whiz bang. And then it will be uploading a video, and you save it. And this is the link that you send. So hopefully that is helpful. And then I can go to my home. Here's my quote channel, very funny. And then you can see all of the lectures that I have done for this, making a COVID-19 mask. But introduction, Broadway, the producer, origin of theater, theater space, elements, all the videos that we've done are here. And you learn as you go along, right? And then you have your other playlists. So then when you publish, you can actually see it. So that is how you upload the video. And what was the other thing I was going to say? I was going to put that on the site, on the assignment presentation. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Any other questions? Does anyone want to schedule time right now for the next, this afternoon, today, or this evening? And I can tell you the times that I'm not available. So if you have an idea with your group and you want to schedule time, I'm happy to do that now. No, nobody? Okay, then what I was going to talk about briefly is this, the idea of going back to work. So going back to work as a theater artist is going to be very, very tricky. We're really considering it. All of the United Scenic Artists are meeting with the Directors Guild, the choreographers, Actors Equity, to talk about safety in live performance. For costumers and costume designers, this is a very critical thing, because set designers don't have to really interact with actors. They can design the set. The set can be built. People can social distance while they're building it. They can install it. Even lighting can be, you can hang different parts. You can hang the lighting instruments in different parts of the grid at the same time. Remember that COVID virus stays on hard surfaces. So for lighting, you really want to make sure, metal seems to love metal. You want to make sure that your instruments are completely clean, and it can live. I actually have a guide from a safety class. There's a woman that teaches safety for the unions, and she has a chart of how long COVID lasts on different surfaces. So on clothing, it's very unlikely that you would get it from someone's clothing. So for costume, that's a good thing. What we do is we quarantine the clothes for 72 hours, but it is unlikely that you would pick it up from, for example, shopping in a store. You're going to pick it up much more likely from someone breathing on you or from talking to someone. So in the costume department, the protocol must be handled by the actor getting a COVID-19 test. Everyone on the set has to have a test before they come start work, and then they would have to have them periodically. And this will change once we can get a vaccine. But again, you can go to the clothing store, get clothes. You can have actors try them on. Again, the actor will go into the dressing room. The hanger is the thing that can hold on to the virus. So we'll be, very, very carefully cleaning hangers, cleaning any kind of surface, and of course, spraying shoes. which we always do in our department anyway. Every time a garment is worn, it is washed, the shoes are sprayed with an antibacterial, and they're sprayed out in the sun. So we do that also with hats, and we clean them. We clean off the inside if there's some kind of makeup there. And we also wash gloves, all stockings, tights, undergarments, anything that can be washed, we wash in preference over dry cleaning. And I have always felt that this is a better way to clean things. And in fact, when we were at this safety seminar, there has not been any testing on does dry cleaning get rid of COVID-19 out of clothing. So there's no data on that yet. But washing is better. Soap works better than hand sanitizer. So soap and water is your best friend. And that's something that with washing, you really get that. Apparently the virus is killed at 180 degrees. Generally a dryer's top heat is 155, so it would not necessarily kill it, but the soap and water would have dissolved the virus itself. And then interestingly enough, to rub down your surfaces, for example, those pesky hangers. I mean, I generally wear gloves anyway when I go to storage because I'm handling hundreds of garments and hundreds of hangers. So wearing gloves is very important that are washable. You should be washing your clothes, wearing them once, quarantining them, and then washing them, especially when you're working in an environment with others. And then using the 60 to 70% alcohol is more effective than using the 90% alcohol. So that's a really important thing to recognize. And in hand sanitizer, generally, it's 70% alcohol. So there's a number of protocols that are in place to actually start back to work. For each of the departments, each department has its own set of protocols. But one thing that has to happen is the theaters themselves have to have a set of safety regulations in place for their theater, and that needs to be available to any person that's coming in. They also have to have a safety officer who's responsible for making sure that the safety guidelines are being followed and that the protocol is strictly adhered to. So, you know, it's a really interesting time, and it's an interesting time to be in the field of theater. I'm actually thinking about, you know, people like massage artists and that kind of thing, and people who make their living that way, and that's got to be very difficult because, you know, you're really in close contact with another person, even if you're wearing a mask, or even, and I do understand and I get that idea from salon people. But for example, with the makeup class in the fall, the very best way to have the makeup class is going to be online. And so it'll be much in the same format. There will be a lecture demonstration. You'll be able to see that on your own computer. You'll be able to exercise it. And then we're going to do a bunch of Zoom meetings so we can see people's close-up effects, and we can see them in between process, because some of the Zoom classes will be while you're executing the makeup. So it'll be really fun. But anyway, any questions on protocol, and has anybody gone back to work? Or maybe you just didn't, maybe you did not, maybe you didn't stop working. So because you were an essential worker, so, or you could work from home. I mean, you know, I ended up working from home. But has anyone else had any safety protocols put in place for where you are working or going to work? Or have you put any in your home? No? Okay. So that's just something that we need to be heightened awareness of in this day and age. And I think that in this way, working on our Zoom will be worth it, and trying to practice this is good. Let's see, were we going to practice one more thing when we came back from the break? Why doesn't someone else try to practice besides what Katie did? Somebody else can practice being on screen and then hiding non-participants. Does someone want to volunteer? Amy will. Okay. So you guys, I'm going to hide the non-video participants by, oh, I can show you this. Maybe I can show you this. Was everyone successful in hiding the non-video participants by going up above the names of people on your screen to the 3 dots and then scroll down that menu and go to hide non-video participants. Right? Okay, so now I'm going to change my screen view to gallery view because I'm on full screen. I'm going to change to gallery, and then it's Amy and Pam. So, Amy, are you on speaker view or you're on gallery?
I'm on gallery. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, but maybe other people can hear you. You could type it in the chat. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I wonder if my sound here. Can I hear you now?
Can you hear me?
I had my sound down too low. It's interesting that my sound was down and you could hear me, but it was down so low that I couldn't hear you guys. That's interesting. So that's another thing to be aware of. I'll make a note about that, is make sure that you're checking your sound volume for others as well as for yourself. Learn something new every day. So I see you did try a background.
Me?
Yeah.
I
saw the outer space one with her.
yeah. But because I probably need to update. It'll only let me do it if I say that I have a green screen. So it'll only.
Oh, it said only if you have a green screen. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So mine did both ways. It was actually better if I said I did not have a green screen. And okay, so if you have a green screen, then it kind of makes you disappear in some ways.
Okay.
And if you don't have a green screen, it gives you nothing?
Yeah, it won't let me actually.
Wow, okay, very interesting. So maybe that is an update situation. I mean, your computer must have capacity to do it. It's just that there's some sort of glitch.
I have to update anyways. I was just nervous to do it because I couldn't. Sometimes it breaks things for work. So
Don't do it then.
especially if there's a deadline. I'm like, not yet.
I mean, you can hang something up behind you. Really, it's not that important. And I mean, I find that with my phone too. The other thing is, I'm wondering if you just go off of Zoom and come back on, if you might have a different option. Because sometimes, and you don't need to try it now, but after we're done with class, sometimes what I found is if you log out and then you initiate a new Zoom, like maybe if you are hosting the Zoom, remember anyone can host a Zoom. It's free. And you can have up to 3 people for up to 45 minutes. So no problem. You can, if you've got Zoom downloaded, you can start your own meeting. But you might try that and just see if you start your own meeting, if you have more options instead of trying to do an update on your computer. Okay? Yeah, anything else that you've noticed it might be kind of tricky?
Not as of yet. No.
I should have figured it out when you said you could hear Katie and I couldn't hear her. Anyway, yeah, okay, great. Thanks for showing up. Hey, everybody, can you just I'm gonna unhide you guys, and can you guys all put your cameras on for a second? And I know that Oscar, you won't be able to. So Amy, you just started working remotely, but you're going into the office as well?
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to move the pillow. I have to sit on a pillow because I'm on a wooden chair. You can't see. And you social distance. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I've gone into school only about, I don't know, maybe 6 times in the whole, maybe once a month. And it's like a ghost town up there. It's kind of creepy. But I've had to pick up some donations from people and then go up to school, and then and Clarice is now retired.
Oh.
So yeah, she's not with us anymore. Katie, there you are. Look, you've got the video on.
Yes, I figured out how to do it right now.
Very good. It looks great. And that gives good.
It's 'cause I don't really have anything on my wall right now, so it really just doesn't get anything. So it's good for the green. It's good for the picture. So.
And are you in green screen or not green screen when you're on
I'm
that?
Green screen.
You're not in green screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then you can now if you go, how far back can you go to your wall? Like just step back a little further. Look, it looks like she's on the beach. So, you know, I mean, we can still hear you, and it's kind of interesting that if maybe you wanted to have your scene be 2 people far away, you can totally do that. You know, it's quite interesting. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then,
it's pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it, I mean, really just moving in your chair 3 feet can make a huge difference in how things look. Right. And you can then see that, you know, as far as what you're going to wear, that's really going to be mostly from the waist up. But, you know, we've had those times when people have gotten caught with their pajamas from the waist down. So you want to think about that. Does anyone else want to come on screen? How about Gabriel? You want to try it? You don't have to be on a virtual background. Or Mari, do you want to try? Sometimes you've been on. I'm just drinking water out of that cup because, see, it says cat here. 1 cat short of crazy. And because if I put anything like a vase of flowers, I have a cat that will literally just knock stuff off the table, and then I end up with water everywhere. So yesterday they even managed to knock this over. I picked the lowest, flattest thing to, you know, not have something knockable. Oh, there we go. Now we're in the Golden Gate Bridge. That's nice. Maybe you'll set your Tempest in San Francisco. You can set it anywhere, and it can be in any time period. Because if you think that a time period that is more contemporary or in the future can tell the story better, or can tell our story the way you want to tell it, then put it in that time period and in that location. So you can do it any way you want. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Because if not, we can just end the meeting. If anyone wants to stay after briefly for office hours, I can do that. And then I'm going to try and set up these last few things that we talked about and make sure they get into your, it'll be under the presentation, Tempest. And I'll put the recording there later, but also it'll be with this idea of the Zoom, how to do that and how to put your virtual backgrounds and how to check your volume. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
For the credit, is that due tonight? Just
The
credit
play
for-
report.
yes.
No. That's going to be due Saturday.
Okay, great.
I actually tried to have things due because it said that Saturday was the last day of school. And so I had to have it due. And I can even have it due Sunday and you can email it to me.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll put that in the notes and I'll put that up right now. I'll change that right now so that you have it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, of course. And you can pick any play that I've posted that we haven't watched. And by the way, I just thought it was fascinating, you know, that people really enjoyed Blueprint Medea and also the Jane Klieg. So if you haven't seen either one of those, I'd recommend them. They've gotten rave reviews from your fellow classmates. And I think there may be a new Andrew Lloyd Webber, but I'll spend a couple minutes and see if there's anything new, and I'll put that in the assignment and also in the announcements. I'll put in announcements so everyone gets it by email that you have this additional extra credit opportunity. Okay? And then remember, the quizzes will be open from tonight through tomorrow for 24 hours. So if you haven't had a chance to do one of the quizzes because you joined late, you were ill, you had any other, there have been many complications as we've had really since March. So that's why I've opened up the ones where I noticed that people were missing quizzes. I've opened those up for anyone that has missed. Okay. All right. Anything else? Feel free to email me and then let me know what's happening. I'll check in on the discussions today and make sure I give a little nudge. Okay. Looks like you're in San Francisco. It's so fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Wait, maybe I'll go somewhere. Just a second. Let's see. Maybe I'll just go to school. There we go. I'll just be at school. It's such a beautiful place to be. I couldn't believe it. When I first started teaching, I was actually on East Campus and I had to think of a place where we could do this. And so when we got to West Campus and there was this beautiful amphitheater, I thought, that's terrific. Okay, everybody. I'm going to end the meeting, and just feel free to email me with any questions, and then check your grades. I'm going to be working through and getting them as many as I can up. It takes about at least 4 hours for each assignment. So I'm trying to get them done as soon as possible. And I'll visit your discussions. I'm looking forward to seeing you and seeing your presentations. So goodbye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question because I'm here
Hold on a second.
taking a look. Okay.
I'm going to get rid of this background. All right. I didn't want to be on Zoom and then suddenly have this strange background next time.
Yeah. I have a question regarding the project breakdown about the co-director's assignment. I am struggling with determining reversal schedule, who is needed and when, and what happens at each reversal.
Okay, who are you? Who is in your group?
William.
Yep.
And the other person has not shown yet.
Okay, what scene are you in? I can try and go to your group right now and take a look.
Okay, my scene is Act 3, Scene 2.
Okay, all righty. Let me go to there. Okay. And you've started having a discussion?
Yes, but only 2 of the people were talking. Like.
Okay, and so let me just go. I'm just wondering, did I not publish the assignment weirdly? Just a second. Okay, let me go into this other area for a sec. Okay. Okay. Right, final group projects. And you're in which one? Act 2?
Act 3, Scene 2.
Act 3, Scene 2. Okay. And let me just check. Okay. Oh, that would be, actually, it's fun that he has, oh, Salis is in your group. Okay. Okay, so that's Salis Perry. Let me just grab her. And I'll see why she's been pretty, here's an interesting thing. She has been active about emailing me, but I am going to really tell her that her group is really working without her and that she can jump in. So I'm going to actually put that in your discussion right now. And then I can, let me get my screen down here. I wonder if William could do it on his phone, you know? I don't think you should let him off the hook just because his camera's broken.
Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage that. Do you find that he tends to want to run the show?
Sorry, the truck just passed and I couldn't hear a thing.
Do you feel like he tends to want to have everything his way, or are you feeling like you have enough room to participate?
No, I'm feeling fine. I'm just like decided to, instead of being the designer and concerning about the costumes and makeup, I will take the role of director because nobody has.
Yeah, I think
chosen
that's a
it.
great idea.
Mm-hmm. And like I was just like struggling with how exactly do I make a reversal schedule. If I have to stipulate a time that each reversal will take time, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so what you can do is kind of take a look at, let me just go off of this so I can see. Okay. Just take a look at what their time frame is. And in the beginning, just plan, like, see if you can get 1 hour for together. And you're seeing as the Caliban Stefano Trinculo scene.
Yes, and with Ariel too.
Yeah, but that's just one line. I mean, that can just be, that's a throwaway. That's why, like, that almost doesn't, Ariel, oh, you know what? I can take off the recording just a second.